Hey Craig, you did an amazing job on our video. I really appreciated the fact that you emphasized so many times about personality disorders. Basically, the basis of them start in early adolescence and through the connection of early childhood trauma, abuse, or neglect, or all three of them. And I just thought it was very interesting that you had also added the clusters and how they affected people. In cluster A, it's paranoid. Cluster B, dramatic, impulsive, and emotional. And cluster C, anxious and fearful. Their attachment issues also are another area where they can be a part of abuse, neglect, or early childhood trauma, affecting them later in life as well in adulthood. And this article I was reading was about childhood maltreatment and adult personality disorder symptoms, influence of maltreatment type. And the abstract is basically saying it's a study that examines the effects of different types of childhood maltreatment and personality disorder symptoms. And they have samples of adults, participants that were reporting history of moderate to severe maltreatment in childhood trauma questionnaire. They were grouped by type of abuse and compared to a non abused group with regard to the number of personality disorder symptoms endorsed. Physical, sexual, and emotional abuse and neglect were each associated with heightened symptoms of all three clusters. Elevated symptoms of several specific personality disorders were also displayed, including paranoid, borderline, avoidant, dependent, obsessive compulsive, and depressive personality disorder. There were no significant differences between all of these groups. These findings were indicated by emotional abuse, neglect, physical, sexual abuse are the risk factors for the big array of personality outcomes in the non-clinical group sample. So it was very interesting to read this and how child abuse, neglect have been strongly impacted as risk factors in developing personality disorders later in life. The patients that had these disorders reported increased rates of childhood abuse or maltreatment across a range of abuse types, such as emotional, physical, and neglect. So it's important that these big effects of various types of abuse are not confined to just clinical populations. It's also shown in community of subclinical personality symptomology. So it's really important to see that. It's important to see that it happens in both groups. And also, some investigations have also had specific links between particular types of abuse, like personality disorder has been connected to different types of sexual and physical abuse and considered to be more severe and pathogenic and emotional and verbal abuse. Several studies have focused on a history of sexual and physical abuse as well. However, the approach may not be as informative or as concrete as individual forms of maltreatment can co-occur. So they can kind of be comorbid, excuse me, basically in the events that they have multiple types of maltreatment. It may be addictive or synergistic, but more than anything, there are found participants who reported only verbal abuse and witnessing domestic violence had increases of symptoms of depression, disassociation, and comparable to or greater to those who reported other forms of abuse. So it's really interesting that few investigations have examined the other effects of childhood abuse, like repeatedly being put down or name calling. So that was a different aspect that was interesting compared with sexual abuse or abuse on personality pathology, and the results of the studies being not as consistent. So this is just a very informative study as to where they wanted to provide more research for people to be able to understand these disorders more. And so I just thought it was really interesting, and I wanted to share that with you. Thank you.